to Breakfast Television. She's a 7-time WWE Women's Champ, inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame in 2013, and is a super mom. We're talking about Trish Stratus in the house. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, we got to talk about this. SummerSlam on Sunday.
Like days away.
And coming back to the ring. Why? Why now? Like, when did you officially retire? Because I feel like you never have.
Yeah, retirement's like a loose term that we use in wrestling. 2006 was my official retirement. I was 30 years old, so I felt like it was the right time at that point in my life to walk away from the business. Can I get a kiss? And 2 children later.
Yeah.
And here we are.
She's not been a regular competitor at WWE in 13 years.
It is a meeting of two eras when it comes to the greats in women's wrestling.
When you look at and you get comments like, I'm a wrestler now because of you, how does that make you feel when you hear that?
It's crazy. Because people to me always say, did you always know you wanted to be a women's wrestler? And I didn't. When I first started, women were just hair pulling, slapping, getting in these little cat fights and stuff. And I was like, I can do more than a slap, I can, you know? And I wanted to change the perception of what a female could do in the wrestling world.
In my book, the greatest women's champion in WWE history.
A woman who blazed the trail for what became the women's evolution.
And not only do I want to prove it to the fans that I still got it, and of course to my opponent, but like to myself. And it just felt like if I'm gonna do it, this is the time to do it. Charlotte Flair, you know, the top of her era, the top of my era, facing off, there's a lot at stake. People are expecting a lot out of this match. Can I deliver? Hello? Hello? Where's my kids? You got our pants on. Hi. Hi.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, babes. I bumped up my training. And of course, this time as a mom, it's way different. Mom duty obviously has to be number one, or, you know, kids don't get fed and stuff like that, and that's a problem. Can you squeeze it for you? I'll squeeze it. You put your shoes on, then we'll have the rest. It became about juggling this mom life and this training life, and from 9 till midnight I'll train, I'll have a sleep, I'll get the kids ready for camp, and then I'll go to school, and then I'll come back, and like, you know, all these things had to shift, and everyone around me helped. I mean, I couldn't have done it without the team of moms and mother-in-laws and, you know, my husband and everyone helping, going, this is an amazing opportunity, and I know that you want this, so we're gonna help make this happen. You ready for camp? Thank you. Okay. Hi. Good, how are you? We're in Toronto, which is where I live. I actually was born here, and I grew up about 20 minutes from where I live now. I grew up wanting to be a doctor. That was my mission in life, and once I got into university, I was on my way to med school, and then in 1997, there was a university strike, and everything halted. When I want something, I prepare everything around my life towards that goal. And it was the first time in my life that I was just like, okay, but I have a plan, I have a timeline. And it kind of threw me off because it's like, well, what do I do with myself? I took a job at a gym thinking I could train for free, so I thought there was a bonus. And this new industry was beginning. It was called fitness modeling. The pioneer in the fitness publishing industry is Robert Kennedy. And he was actually based out of Toronto. And he saw there was sort of a thing missing, and it was basically women who trained and they had athletic bodies, but they weren't overly manly, I guess you could say. I was working at the gym, and someone who's working there worked with Robert Kennedy, and he said, you know, he's looking for fitness models. He took me to a test shoot.
That's great, good. 1, 2, 3, perfect.
I met Robert Kennedy, and he looked me in the eyes and he said, you've got it. You're smiling with your eyes, and that's something unique, and that's something the reader sees, and you can speak to them right from the cover.
Just give me that attitude in your eyes. Beautiful.
I saw a sparkle about this girl. I thought from the very beginning, she has an enormous focus. She loves a challenge to better herself.
He then assigned me to a fitness trainer and said, we're gonna do your first professional photo shoot in 3 months.
Trish, you're gonna get such a big laugh, you're gonna fly away, woman. Here we go now. Good work. Are you smiling, Trish? Yeah.
My first photo shoot became my first cover, and he told me, preparedness means opportunity. That's something you should remember because that's why you got to where you are today. So I became a fitness model full-time, and I think within the first year I had maybe 6 covers or something under my belt, so it just sort of started rolling.
She was the Arnold Schwarzenegger of women's fitness immediately. From there, she went on to get more exposure in her life.
Here in Toronto, there was a talk show called Michael Landsberg's Off the Record, and I became one of their go-to guests because I was a chick who knew sports.
I've just recently become involved with the Natural Bodybuilding Association.
Now, women know wrestling. It's cool. Back then, it was like, if you found a girl in your wrestling, I mean, that was pretty cool. And like, even for me as a female, I'm like, you watch wrestling too? It was like almost like, me too, okay. It's like, like closet fans.
So is wrestling any different than the other sports, given what we expect?
No, I think you're giving the fans what they want, and I think as far as the athletes are concerned, it's expected, but it's, personal as far as how far they're gonna go individually. Like Mick Foley, that's I think, individual, correct?
Yeah.
The best woman in your mind. And we're talking ability with the microphone, supreme intelligence, and talent.
Intelligence, I don't know. You take a vote, I think. Me? I'm not in the wrestling. That's just public opinion. I'm gonna go with Sable.
Glenn?
Here again, I'm gonna go with Sable only until Trish becomes my manager.
And then I guess the next turning point for me, I was actually on a talk show about one of my covers.
TSN viewers have seen you on Off the Record a number of times, and it's always been wrestlers on the show. And so one day, would you like to join in some capacity?
Sure. Yeah, you know what?
Because I know you love wrestling.
I do, I really do.
In the other studio, they were filming Slam Jams. Michael Hayes was doing them. And then Michael Hayes came over and he's like, hey, and I was introduced to him, and he's like, man, you have a great look. Girl, you should send your stuff in. So I was like, okay. So the nerd me, keener, I went home, I prepared this press kit, and I sent my package off. But in the meantime, I looked up the gym that I knew fellow Torontonian Edge trained out of. It was called Sully's Gym. Knocked on the door and said, hey, hi, I'd like to train to become a wrestler. And I was the only female there, and Ron Hutchison opened the door and was like, yeah, Mariel, he always tells me, he says, and I saw this little blonde little girl, and I'm like, okay, little girl, you ready for this? And he accepted me into the school, and I began training.
I asked her, why? Like, here's this beautiful, tiny woman. I said, you really want to get thrown around and beaten on by guys or whatever they're going to do to you? So, oh yeah, okay, if you want to do it. And she was one of the boys.
The first time I ever met Trish was at Sully's Gym in Toronto, where Edge and I trained. And I found out, from talking to her, that her knowledge of wrestling, it was obvious that she was a lifelong fan of it. Just wasn't something she was trying to do just because, I can make some money doing this. It was something that she really had a passion for and wanted to put everything into.
I feel like my whole life has been about trying to prove to the boys that I belong to be in their world. And then within those few months, I finally got a call from Jim Ross.
Ron Hutchison trained her, and she didn't miss practice. She showed up to work. My #1 trait for signing somebody, reliability. She was that. Smart girl, understood the business enough to figure out what she could do well in it. And I immediately made arrangements to fly her from Toronto to Stanford to come to my office and meet me.
I was this fitness model with a little bit of experience in wrestling. All I knew is that I loved wrestling, and I made the decision to go forward with WWE, the wrestling that had been in my life for my entire life. And suddenly I got a contract offer.
The 2 biggest names in the history of the women's division. Trish Stratus, a 7-time champion. Charlotte Flair says, I've already gone past that number. The Queen wants to send Trish Stratus back home in her hometown with a loss.
I haven't been in a ring since October of last year. Evolution and Royal Rumble were both like spots and a couple things here and there. It was a couple moves, your best hits, and this is a full-on singles match against the top female superstar in the company. there's moments where I'm just like, did I actually agree to this? Like, what am I doing? You're facing Charlotte Flair. Like, it's crazy because it's not like it's Trish Stratus at her peak. I mean, Trish Stratus at her peak and Charlotte Flair, easy, in my sleep. But I'm 10 years older than her. It's been 8 years since I've had a singles match, 2 children later, so it's a different stage for sure. And she's at her every day. That's what she does every day. She's in her prime. My entire career, my entire life, actually, I've thrived on challenge. So that's made me go and dig deep and find out where that drive is and remember how to tap into that inner fire. And I still don't know if I can do it. We'll see on Sunday. I signed my contract in '99, waited around, and finally in 2000, I got my visa. And then I was flown to TVs waiting for, the right idea to come about. And then one day, out of nowhere, the idea of putting me with Test and Albert, I was excited about that. I was like, oh my gosh. And yes, great. So this is tonight? Oh, we're gonna do this tonight. Okay. I made my debut on Heat.
Looking mighty fine. That's Trish Stratus. I think Trish Stratus likes what she sees. She is looking up and down at Prince Albert.
We had an opportunity to work together. I thought it was a great idea, but when we started, she didn't feel comfortable doing stuff. Trish needed to take time to get there.
We know what everyone wants to see. Test and Albert. T and A.
But once we hit our stride and Trish knew her role,
Hey, look at Trish Stratus get involved.
month 3 to month 8 of the progression of Trish Stratus was amazing.
Trish has got Bubba's attention. Oh, baby!
Valeting was an invaluable tool for me to learn. Being a valet, you're able to have the mouthpiece.
You guys want to become major players here? Then you'll listen to me.
I had a front row seat to watch and learn.
Test and Albert got a lot of potential, especially with Trish Stratus in their corner.
As a character, I saw the value in that, but it was a little frustrating at times. I knew that athletically I could do what I saw on the television product. It was just a matter of getting the right opportunity. It just wasn't available. It just wasn't part of the product. But I was available for the photo shoots.
Trish, you look gorgeous.
I enjoyed the fact that they would use my expertise.
I don't know what to say, but wow. And I'm learning one thing from Trish Stratus, and that is pointing the toes. See that?
But I couldn't do what I was fully capable of doing. And I would have the occasional opportunity to get in the ring here and there. There was the occasional cat fight.
Oh my gosh, cat fight, woo!
And then there was matches that I didn't agree with.
What a way to win this match. Strip your opponent right down to the old bra and panties, come on!
No matter what was thrown at her, she always rolled with the punches.
For the love of God, Trish just exploded in that table!
That is actually something that I admire the most about her.
I just remember thinking, trust the process. You can't just change things overnight.
Two queens in the ring, past and present. What are you looking forward to the most competing against Charlotte?
I guess determining who the Queen of Queens is.
That's a good one.
There you go. I remember approaching media thinking, this is my comeback match. I got in shape for this, I worked for this, I trained for this.
Do you think that you'll still be able to bring the level that you used to, or is the ring rust maybe setting at this point?
The ring rust is gone by now, long gone. I got right in the ring. I've been training like crazy, and it's been a little bit of a challenge with children as well, and trying to balance that, but it's been great. And then the more media I did, the more I spoke about it, I realized it was a perfect finality, actually. You know, you said this is your comeback match. I think it's also my farewell match.
Okay. Now they say that this is your last match, but is it? Yes. I mean, yeah. There's no circumstance where you would come back.
I just feel like you couldn't put a more perfect scenario together for me to have a little bookend here. Being in Toronto with it being against Charlotte Flair, it being SummerSlam, brought another level of emotion to this entire scenario, which, you know, I think added to just my fire and just made me really realize the importance of what I needed to do to deliver. So at the time, I always said, oh man, I can get in the ring and I can wrestle because I was doing it in my school. But there really wasn't that opportunity. There wasn't really a women's division. China left the company and she was champion at the time. So there literally was no women's championship, nor was there division for a little while there. So there was nothing to work towards. And I remember in 2001, there's an opportunity that they decided to bring back the women's title.
This one should be extraordinary.
The following contest, scheduled for one fall, is the Six-Pack Challenge to determine the new World Wrestling Federation Women's Champion.
And so they basically took the women with wrestling experience. There were 6 of us, put them in this match.
The first woman to score pinfall or submission will be the new WWF Women's Champion. And Trish, with a stratisfaction. Oh, don't tell me. And Trish has done it. Trish Stratus has won this match.
Probably with the least experience out of everyone, big time underdog.
Certainly not a favorite going into this matchup. And Trish Stratus is the new women's champion.
A huge opportunity for me, and I just remember thinking, this is it. Like, I need to show them that I deserve to be women's champion.
Trish knew that she had a bullseye on her, getting that title off the Six-Pack Challenge, and she knew that she had an obligation to the fans and the locker room and the title and the business to deliver and to be the best champion that she could be and make all of us eat our words.
A lot of the boys made fun of her because she was a fitness model. They never thought she would last. She basically went out there and proved them all wrong.
It's not an easy thing to do, but she was very determined. She was putting in a lot of hours that people didn't see, like being at the arena super early, in that ring training all day long.
We would get to shows early, and Trish would be in the ring working with Fit.
Go to do it again, block it.
With my
foot?
Yep.
Give me an elbow. Boom. Put my head in. Right.
She was like a sponge. She was trying to gain knowledge and she was talking to people.
Am I rushing? I'm rushing all this, aren't I?
And she would ask, hey, watch my match and give me some feedback and things like that.
She was always determined to get better and to get better and to get better.
You know what I did last week? It's nothing compared to tonight.
I know. Seems like we say it every week, but every week she just gets better and better.
She was trying to learn it at a fast rate and also had aspirations of being the best.
Man, what an athlete. Yes! Hard work and desire. That's what you get when you put it all together. Trish Stratus, the women's champion.
She was one of my main inspirations for wanting to do what I do today, because although I grew up around some of the most iconic and legendary figures in WWE, they weren't women. And so Trish, being Canadian, being blonde, being strong, being fierce, just being really tough. Watching her compete in the ring, I was just hooked.
Look at that Matrix move. I love it. And as beautiful as she is, she's just as tough.
I mean, I thought there's no reason we can't change the perception of what the female can do in the ring, and we set out to do that. Slowly, we're just presenting better stuff, and the women was being highlighted a little differently than they were expected.
Trish, who came in as just, we thought, another pretty face, but through hard work and great athletic ability, Trish is one of the best ever.
I was actually, and she knows this, more of a fan of Lita just because I was more like tomboy and kind of dressed like that. But Trish just proved to everybody she was more than a bikini model. She was more than what she was perceived as when she first got there, and eventually, of course, became a fan.
I think a really cool indication came of all the hard work we were doing, and maybe the turning point was Lita and I were in a feud.
Two of the most popular divas in the WWE.
We walked into the building and we were told that we would be main eventing Monday Night Raw.
Trish Stratus puts the women's title on the line against Lita. What a match that's gonna be, JR. The championship decided later tonight here on Raw.
Wow.
We have been waiting a long time for this opportunity, and it's all about the title, but I think it's about a whole lot more.
That was a really big feeling of pride. It was like excitement mixed with confidence because it was time. You're damn right this is happening.
A crazy moment for us, knowing that the hard work that we'd been put in was being recognized.
I remember when that happened and I could not believe it. That's one of those matches that women go back to and you really say like, okay, it's possible. Women can make their mark in this industry, and it started with that.
These women are giving it everything they've got, everything they can. Look at this! Oh my gosh!
I was sitting ringside in 2004 as a senior in high school and seeing history being made, a defining moment.
Lita, what's she doing here? Trish, get up, Trish! Lita's got no business up here. It's all or nothing. No! All or nothing, and then the moonsault. The moonsault. The hook. The three. By God, Lita did it.
That match was so magical for both of us. I'm getting emotional just thinking like I hadn't been back to that moment since it happened and what that meant for two women in the industry.
I can't believe the effort, the heart, both men and women displayed. Well, you got that right. I've never seen anything like this, JR.
It was everything we worked for, and also the turning point, I think, for us on when we were like, okay, we're off to the races. It was a really cool time. I remember it like it was like all of a sudden a switch, and we were like, okay, I think we're doing it. And we had time, and we had storylines.
Mickie James, Trish Stratus. Whoa, whoa, whoa!
It really started to show that they had faith in the women because the perception was changing for women's wrestling. And it brought legitimacy back to the women's championship.
It was so exciting. The whole roster were capable of working, and it was a really good time for us.
Rona's gift to the WWE, the six-time WWE Women's Champion, in my book, the greatest women's champion in WWE history.
Maddie, you have apple juice left. Do you want it? All right. Do you guys want to come upstairs with me and get ready? So, Max, do you remember I told you about the match? Yeah. Who am I wrestling? Do you remember? You. I'm not wrestling myself. Who am I wrestling? Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte. And am I gonna win? You wanna go upstairs with me, guys? Come. Okay, let's go get my stuff. You going with Nana today? And Daddy? Yeah. And I'm gonna be back soon. I'm just gonna go to work quickly and then I'll be back, okay? Can I get a kiss? Mwah. Maddie, I love you. How do you say? Go, come here. Mwah. I love you. Being at home, like literally at home, is hitting home. Say goodbye to the kids. It's funny, they don't even get what's going on. I feel so blessed right now with this scenario. To face Charlotte just means like so much. It's a good moment of finality for me to like walk away. I don't even know why I'm emotional about it. I mean, I did it already 13 years ago. A point in my career came where I was 6-time champion and my contract was coming up. There's a couple things that happened when that point came. Number one, I felt satisfied. I felt fulfilled with what I had done, how I had contributed. And also, my mom was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I knew the lifestyle was going to prevent me from being by her side.
When you're on the road and it's so painful to know that a loved one is going through something and you want to be able to be there for your family, and when you just can't be, and it's one thing if you miss a barbecue or a wedding, but it's another thing to miss your family when they need you.
I talked to Vince McMahon about it and decided that I was gonna not renew my contract. Thanked him for all the opportunities and kind of left with that. Then I got a call from Vince and he said, "Can I ask you, would you stay around for a couple months?" And I asked him, what's happening? What am I sticking around for? And he said, "Well, we're gonna be in Toronto in a few months, and I think that would be a great place for you to have a retirement match."
Trish Stratus' hometown here tonight in Toronto. Fans anxiously await her arrival.
And introducing the challenger, Toronto's own Trish Stratus!
What an amazing ovation! Trish can break the record and become the first ever 7-time champion here tonight with a victory in her last match in her hometown.
Oh, look at this!
And Trish, well, what she likes to call Air Canada.
We're gonna see some Stratusfaction?
Trish thinking Stratusfaction. Stratusfaction, no. No, counter. No, Trish had a getting predicament. What's Trish doing here?
Wait a minute, JR, look at this!
You gotta be, wait a minute here.
JR!
Sharpshooter! Sharpshooter! The crowd's on their feet! The crowd's going crazy! The sharpshooter!
Trish has it locked in!
That hole is as Canadian can get! It's over! It's over! And Trish wins!
Here is your winner by submission and the new WWE Women's Champion, Trish Stratus!
I think the fans have come to expect that anything is possible when Trish is out there in the ring, but I still think that when they saw me tap out, that they were like, "Oh my God, is this her retirement match? Is that for real? What I just saw?"
That is absolutely amazing.
Oh, man.
Congratulations, Trish. There was never anyone any better.
To go out in your hometown as the champion, win the match, sail off into the sunset, it's kind of the dream.
No one walks away on their last match in their hometown with their title unless you're Trish Stratus.
It was almost like the end of that era. It was like closing of a chapter. I think she represented and embodied the entire Attitude Era. You know, that kind of cutting edge, pushing the envelope, beautiful, fierce, tough, kind of spontaneous. And I think when she retired, I feel like it was a new chapter being opened up for the women.
I get asked a lot, how did you leave this 300 days of the year schedule, this crazy pace, this busy every day, traveling all over the world, entertaining all over the world, to just nothing? Some people go into golf when they retire. I delved into yoga when I retired. I ended up opening up my yoga studio. It was the largest yoga studio in Canada at the time. So I brought yoga to the masses. And so yoga benefited me greatly. It was something I wanted to give back to people and just be like, I think this is like a little secret I have. Check it out. That's when I began to build my brand.
Enter the stratosphere in Bali, Indonesia, in Kerala, South India, in Norway.
And a lot of opportunities came to me. I did TV shows, a line of fitness videos.
hold it. You can do it.
Yoga products in stores all over Canada. I got a movie gig. Always so thankful for the opportunities. But, you know, I always remember what brought me to the dance for sure.
Trish is here!
And of course, I miss the world of wrestling.
We want some stratisfaction, baby! Yeah! Never been better!
I had several opportunities to get back into the ring here and there and just kind of like, just dip my toes in for a minute and then dip out, go back to my world. My husband, Ron and I decided we were just finally ready to settle down. But we had a lot of trouble. My body was used to the 300 days of the year schedule from WWE, then translated to probably 300 days of the year building my business. And so that was not conducive with trying to produce a baby, though. We were met with negative results a number of times, and then my age started to get up there, and it was a concern. I returned to my full practice of yoga instead of that quick practice to just get back to work. I learned to manage my work a little better so that I could take care of my body and realize this vessel needs to carry a baby and produce a baby. What can I do for it? I believe in the power of the human body. We ended up conceiving naturally. Max was our firstborn, and it was the best day of our lives. And we were ready for it, and WWE Universe was along for the ride, which was super cool because I announced at my Hall of Fame induction.
I just thought I would tell you guys that in September, I will be delivering a little stratisfaction.
I was honored to be inducted that year, and I was very proud of that moment. And
thank my family, like talk about my mom. Some of you may not know that one of the main reasons I retired in 2006 was because my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And I knew that the schedule we endured, I would not be able to be by her side during the chemotherapy. I know that you guys know me as a champion, but my mom is the true fighting champion. And I'm happy to say Mom is cancer-free today. I love you.
so here I am being a mom, I'm a business owner, life is good. And of course, as I always will be, I'm a wrestling fan. So of course, we watched the product and, we started to see a shift.
It was a diva revolution, and now this is like a women's evolution.
It was a great time to be a woman in the world of wrestling, and they were just killing it.
Moonsault by Charlotte! And there is the WWE Women's Champion.
I was watching proudly because I know the blood, sweat, and the tears that me and the other girls put in during our tenure was finally coming to fruition.
We are live to witness history, the first ever Women's Royal Rumble.
The Hall of Fame is sort of like you're officially out of the business. You're like, oh, so am I totally, will I never go back in the ring? But I was wrong.
I just got goosebumps, guys. Perhaps the greatest WWE Women's Champion of all time.
Whenever Trish has come back, it's always to support the women and to pay it forward to the women of today.
The first ever all-women's pay-per-view event.
So for Trish to come back and to give back, it's awesome. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Classic Trish Stratus, the Stratisfaction.
So cool to come back to this event in a tag team capacity with my bestie. How fun, we get to do this, we've never done this before.
Trish Stratus and Lita pick up the victory here at Evolution.
A tag match is one thing, but I did miss that, that singles match, that feeling. It's indescribable. I guess I was craving, you know, one last match. I got a call from WWE's VP of Talent Relations, and he asked if I would do an autograph signing to promote SummerSlam. Then I was like, huh. If there's an opportunity to go back and do one last match, this would be it. Because it's Toronto, and this would be the scenario. Who is the greatest of this generation? You couldn't get any better of an athlete than Charlotte Flair. What if, you know, generation versus generation, faced off in what some could call a dream match? Apparently Vince fell off his chair about the idea, and we decided that this would be incredible. Here I am coming back to this building where I took my final bow and thought that was the end of that. It's where my friends and family are. It's where my hometown crowd is. So that was another layer of expectation as well and more pressure.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Oh, yeah.
It was crazy being backstage, seeing everyone and really seeing like the current girls being like, oh my God, we're so happy to have you come into our world.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Yeah?
Yes, I am. That's my answer for today. It was a lot of pressure. I felt like I had to represent my generation. I felt like I had to represent for the girls.
Why she kick some ass? This girl.
Gets really excited for you guys. He's feeling really good.
You're the OG. I'm like, I'm the original gangster. I gotta do this or else that'll be a huge fail.
Hey, hello, Queen.
Hello.
I wouldn't have missed it, darling. Love you.
Now, it's gonna be tough. You're not gonna know who to cheer for tonight, so you've got both your daughters out there.
But one I have to cheer for because he's family.
Yeah.
But I'm the fan of well.
Thank you. There were so many expectations, and it was a very nerve-wracking experience. It wasn't until I was feeling pretty good because you're in this fray and you keep going. And I've been so busy, I haven't had time to really think about the what's happening. And then
That's the best medicine.
The best medicine until last night. My last interview, I was doing interviews all day long. Last guy goes, Charlotte Flair. She's like the top of the top. I'm like, yep. And she goes, she's in her prime. She's 30 years old, and you're not. And you're not. And just turned it to me, and I was like,
You went, thanks. You're right.
But it was like, he's right. Like, oh my God. What am I doing, right?
Gays don't mean
That's right. We're gonna
Go
show
do your
them.
thing.
We're gonna show them.
I know the struggles that Trish has been going through, but I know how focused Trish is. I know what she has done to prepare for this. Trish doesn't go halfway with anything.
You are looking live at the sold-out Scotiabank Arena for the 32nd time. We welcome you to SummerSlam.
Two of the biggest names in the history of the women's division. Trish Stratus in her hometown of Toronto, a 7-time women's champion, taking on a 9-time women's champion and the queen, Charlotte Flair.
The very last thought was, if you fail, that's what people will remember, and they'll look at you and be like, nice try though. Yeah, okay, thank you, next.
This is Charlotte Flair, the 9-time women's champion. She believes that she is the true trailblazer of women in WWE, not people like Trish Stratus.
People are expecting a lot out of this match. Can I deliver?
The 7-time women's champion, a woman who blazed the trail for what became the women's evolution. She's not been a regular competitor at WWE in 13 years.
It is a meeting of two eras.
Trish Stratus may have blazed the trail, but since then, Charlotte Flair has scorched the earth.
Trish Stratus came prepared. Trish put it, I've been training every night in between my mommy duties, and it's paying off.
The veteran in control. Air Canada here in Toronto.
Oh, gosh. That is why Charlotte is a 9-time women's champion, the ruthless streak. It's like the creation overtaking the creator.
That's all you got. That's all you got.
Charlotte Flair is about to remove any and all doubt.
Going to the top. Oh, missed with a moonsault. The veteran rolled out of the way.
What does Trish have left? What can Trish actually do here?
Oh! Oh, now look at Stratus. Oh, look out.
It's a dangerous situation.
Oh!
Both of these women throwing everything they've got. No.
No, she did not.
I echo the sentiments of the Scotiabank Arena. This is awesome.
Is Trish Stratus one more big move away?
Could be time. How about a little Stratusfaction? Trish could do it.
And here it is, figure 4.
Bridging into the figure 8. And Trish Stratus taps out to Charlotte Flair.
Here is your winner by submission, Charlotte Flair.
All hail the queen of all eras. Trish Stratus brought the biggest, best fight she could bring tonight.
You can take nothing away from the incredible effort we saw from Trish Stratus.
I'll never forget that night. I'll never forget the experience of being in the ring with Charlotte Flair. I'll never forget the reception I got from the hometown crowd. And I'll never forget the final bow that I took on the top of that stage, saying that that was the end.
Another incredible moment and an incredible career for a WWE Hall of Famer.
I'm so proud and so pleased with everything that happened that night.
Come back, don't stay away.
It went excellent. It was everything I could have wanted, more than I expected. It'll be something I'll never forget.
She's gonna be remembered as one of the greatest to have ever done it.
One of the all-time greats in the entire company, male or female. There will never be another Trish Stratus.
Trish is kind of like the poster girl for not only rising to every occasion and opportunity, but exceeding any expectations.
The greatest WWE Women's Champion of all time.
She was stunning, she was beautiful, she could grace the cover of a magazine, but she could also kick your butt. She had gained the respect in the business, both from the fans and from the locker room.
Trish was a pioneer. She is one of the most iconic female superstars in the history of the sport.
7 championship reigns, a Hall of Famer, Trish Stratus,
This match with the person I was facing, with it being in Toronto, everything about it, I wanted to make sure that I just walked away satisfied. I am 100% satisfied.
Where's my torch? Where's my torch?
Just crushed it.
I knew you would. I knew you would.
I put my mind towards something and I did it. I really did it.